Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on my program. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you are joining me from any part of the world, I thank you very much for your contributions on this channel. Please kindly subscribe if you have not subscribed, and also click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. In this channel, I bring information to your doorstep. I bring news from all channels, from every angle. Things that have to do about the world, things that have to do about Africa, more especially Nigeria. I bring it to your doorstep. Some information that you ignore, some information that you cannot be able to come across, I look for them, I bring it to your doorstep for you to see. Every video you see on this channel is for educational purpose.
During the war, and you said I can demonstrate, and people were, this guy, you didn't go to school. What are you talking about?
What can you demonstrate?
But guess what? When he did a demonstration, Abraham Lincoln invited him to the White House, and he stayed the night in the White House because I want to hear what you're talking about. The generals were saying, this guy, you're not a soldier, this guy is spoiling our gari. This is not the kind of... At the end of the day, this guy designed a balloon, started using the balloon until the balloons themselves became effective tools for fighting and ending the war. What am I saying? A president, a governor, must have the capacity to look out for people with certain intellectual capacity. People to say, you are holding an office, you don't know everything. And a president, you must have a listening device. No matter what position you are holding, you must have a listening device that tells you things that ordinarily, because your praise singers are looking for work and they're looking for food. They're not interested. They're going to shut out whatever can be shut out. But you have to have the sophistication, know that you can pick up your phone.
I cannot end this discussion without raising the issue of religion. And that is because Nigerians are said to be extremely religious people. All across, both Orthodox and unorthodox religion. There's hardly any Nigerian you come across who doesn't believe in spirituality, a higher purpose, and all of that. And but then, of course, the argument is different when you say how that translates into their behavior and the way they act in interaction with others. But I raise it because that then gives a lot of power to religious leaders, people who lead groups in terms of faith. And because often people say that, you can correct me if I'm wrong, people say that religion is not based on logic or reasoning. It's a faith matter, and that sometimes, therefore, those who are in the leadership of those things can actually use that to overcome what would have been challenges or confrontations to positions they have held, which people might have had questions about, if not for the fact that it's about faith, it's not about reasoning. In Nigeria, it is said that many of our religious leaders too have become part of the problem, and that in fact they've also joined groups. Some of those you described earlier as, some people calling them mafia, to push particular interests and so on, and that therefore they have also fanned the embers of community discord, pitting one particular group of religious beliefs against the other, which on closer examination there is really no difference.
My PhD thesis was on religion, politics, and power in northern Nigeria. I'm not an expert, but I understand the issues. And we can talk about this, is a subject for another conversation. What we have as religion in Nigeria, we are having is convoluted variant, which is reacting to a complete collapse of the architecture of governance. And this kind of superfluous expression of religion and religiosity thrives only in this kind of an environment. Okay, you cannot plant rice where there's no water and expect it to grow. So this environment is ripe for this kind of superfluous religiosity. So that's why you see if you go to many of the Pentecostal churches outside Nigeria, quite a lot of them are the same Nigerians who are, and the problems are over visa, over immigration status, we are looking for a God, okay, to do X, Y, Z for us. Very few of these people of us are talking about a God to serve. The big elephant in the room for us in Nigeria is Islam and Christianity. And if you come from a Christian tradition where the issues of the relationship between church and state is pretty well defined, it's not the same with Islam, especially Islam in northern Nigeria, where you have the most significant population. The very fact that Christianity has very limited, Islam was in Nigeria for about 600-700 years before Christianity came. So the very fact that the other day, Lamido Sanusi, former emir of Kano or 14th emir of Kano, but he said that I was on a Zoom conference with him, and he said something very striking. He said that they counted in Kano, and there were about 950 main mosques in Kano. And they counted the churches, and there were 800 churches, about 800 churches in Kano. So there is a sense in which there is a certain kind of nervousness. We've been in this room for too long, so how are you guys encroaching to our space? The way Islam sees engagement of religion and the state is completely different. It is that you can use the apparatus of state to build a religion. And we see it when we see governors building mosques here and there. Of course, Christians are now building churches here and there. But the point is that Northern Islam has come with a slightly different template with Islam in the Southwest. Northern Islam came or took a new identity and a greater sense of urgency when it created a state between 1804 and 1903. The colonial administration didn't help matters, because when Christianity appeared in northern Nigeria, the colonial administration said, no, we don't want you to disturb Islam so that won't create problems. So a mentality has grown today that Christians can be seen in these places, but don't raise your voice. So the whole debate about where can I worship? There are many universities today in northern Nigeria where Christians don't have a place of worship. It may be the same in the south, in southern Nigeria, where Muslims don't have a place of worship. Whose business is that? If you go to Kano, for example, it's there that if you want to get a place to build a church, the papers will tell you, even if you get a land, they tell you very clearly, make sure you don't build a brothel. You don't build a church. So a church is sitting side by side with a brothel. I'm saying that the inability of the Nigerian political class to resolve this distortion, which is that it is not the business of the state to build up religion. So when people say that we have NIREC, and NIREC is 25 Christians and 25 Muslims, but a lot of the people are largely traditional rulers. Now, a traditional ruler is not a religious leader. Because for me to become a bishop and to become a priest, I had to go through years of training before I ended up. Now, I am Bishop of Sokoto. I didn't take myself to Sokoto. The Holy Father appointed me as Bishop of Sokoto. So if I have a problem with the governor or the president of Nigeria today, all they can do is take me to court. But a traditional ruler does not have the same latitude, because it's appointed by the governor. And a governor will choose a banker or choose a lawyer or choose anybody of his choice and give you this position. So the result is that we are having this lack of clarity as to where does religion start and where does the state stop. Ordinarily, in pure political science definition, this is what, again, you get from the history of America and other places. If the Constitution does not define all of this, but to show how redundant the Nigerian Constitution is, Section 10 talks about the fact that Nigeria state shall not adopt any religion as a state religion. So that is it from one point of view, that we have completely different ideas. There are videos now that are going around, they've been going around about what happened in the 2014, 2015 elections, the 2019 elections. The videos are now coming out of people who are saying, our religion does not allow us to vote for somebody who is not of our religion. You can hear that in Christianity and Islam. The suspicion has become so deep. And that is why in my Easter message, one of the things I said was, Christians and Muslims in Nigeria, if you're serious, you've got your job cut out for you. Because guess what? People are deciding now to become atheists. So forget them. Don't worry about whether Christians are your problem or Muslims are your problem. It is that from your churches and your mosques, people have decided we are not doing again. Because what we are seeing is not... Now, the young man who has been sentenced to prison in Kano on the ground that he has decided to become an atheist. Does the state have that right? In the same state where a constitution, the supreme document of the country, says that you are free to adopt a religion, you are free to change your religion, you are free to associate, you are free to... So in many cases, you find that the state is pandering around religion, and it ought not to be so. But the second point, arising from what you're saying, is that people have become religious precisely because religion has become an identity marker. Okay? If you go to the villa when a Christian is in power, at the time that Obasanjo was president, there were more Yoruba people speaking Yoruba around the place. And if you saw the way people changed their dress code to get attention. When Jonathan was president, people asked you go and buy a bowler hat. The only way you can get into and get a bit of attention. Now you have to do, if you go to the other side where the vice president is, you have to be, if you are not Redeemed or you are not a Pentecostal, I know people who are Catholics, okay, who as long as the president is in power, they will suspend going to the Catholic Church because they want to worship with the president. It is a lucrative engagement. So what we are dealing with is religion as a commodity of transaction. If blood remains the basis for negotiation, okay, then we are living a feudal state, not a democracy. If social class, my father is a chief, my father is a general, or my father is this, if that is the basis of your getting into power, then we are running a plutocracy. That means people who have the money will govern. If you say that you can be president of Nigeria based on the size of your rosary, or the size of the Quran, or the size of the Bible, then you are running a theocracy. We opted for a democracy. We could have chosen any of this, but now Nigeria is so convoluted. We are feudalists, we are nepotists, so people believe that to give your brother, your son, your nephew a job is taken for granted. That's what people expect to do. And when you go back to the village, people are concerned with how many jobs have you gotten. So now we are living, people like me, I'm just sitting and looking. People in power are sending trucks to their villages to go and collect people for employment in Abuja. The young people have never come to Abuja. I am getting information from young people that you'll just be sitting down, even in jobs that require uniforms. You see all kinds of people appear in uniforms. Some of them can hardly read or write, but they've been assigned positions. People are manufacturing and distributing jobs. Now, I know young people who are falling victim of this because people can tell you want to go to the central bank to cost you 500,000. You want to get a job in FIRS to cost you 1 million. You want to get, whether it's true or false, I don't know, but these are the stories that you hear. So, such a state makes every citizen an orphan. So, this is where we are. How we negotiate this bend, because all of this is evidence of the tension and the crisis that we have. That's why will anybody not want to be president of Nigeria? There is no country in the world, maybe a few African countries, where you can be president and be as, I don't want to use the word irresponsible, but irresponsible in managing power, the way Nigeria gives you the privilege. Because you can decide what you want to do. You can call your business, call your girlfriend, call your nephew, write a check for $1 million, not a problem. So people are falling back on God. It is not a God that they are really and truly worshiping. It's a God that they are conscripting to come and do their will. So I want a job. God, help me get this job. Okay? We are not saying, our Father who are in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. No, God, come down and help to do my will. We are not saying, God, I want to do your will. Because the Nigerian state does not even allow you that latitude. Because, like I said, I'm having a young boy, I don't know what to do with him. This boy designed a drone. The other day, a young boy came to my office. He designed something which he says is it's a generator that doesn't require fuel. Yeah. So he tested and showed me. I said, because he told me he was doing something. I said, after some time, was it last week? He came for mass. I said, oh God, this is how fun? I said, Bishop, I know ground no level again. I can't find the money to complete. How much is the money? 120,000. What I need to finish. I said, okay, come, let's talk. We finished talking. Hopefully he can finish the project. But this is a country where, so you finish, so what? Is there anybody in the Ministry of Science and Technology or somewhere else? Is there a place where you can say there is an institution incubating the intelligence and the talent of young people, and be ready to deploy them to other places. This place is a talent killer. It is. And you cannot treat young people like this and think you have a future. It's not possible. So the contestation, the gyration, the volatility will persist. We may conduct elections. We'll go through the motions. But we're not expecting, because the people that have the mental capacity, because this is the only country where, ask yourself, what are the qualifications that people bring to the table? Papers are the last thing. So people are coming, just like you rightly say, we want to be president because it's our right, it's our turn. But it's not our turn to do good. It's our turn to make up for the marginalization of our people. So when you hear me, and the things I've said against this president are two, and I've stood by them. I have a lot of respect for him. But he has been a disaster in the area of managing diversity, and the blatant nepotism is not acceptable. It's morally reprehensible. And I only stand to be corrected. It's not a question of, are the things I'm saying true or not true? Because I'm insisting that whoever becomes president of Nigeria today, tomorrow, next tomorrow, they will hear from me if they are not doing the right thing. So it's got nothing personal, because I'm saying I have seen where people have managed diversity well. I have seen why is it that now, after France won the World Cup, is there any football team now in the world that you don't see black people? Even the World Cup, Germany had to put in a black man at the last minute. So even with the racism, okay, who is talking about Oyibo person? Look at, you should have congratulated me because I'm an Arsenal supporter. Okay, you should have congratulated. I know you are jealous.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But the young man who scored the goal yesterday, is it Daniel? What? Is anybody thinking of his skin color? For one moment you lose sense of color. They may be racist. But what are the results? So if we do not aspire to create a country where we are blind to the sins of the flesh, and the sins of the flesh are what produce ethnicity, this toxicity that you define somebody standing before you not as a child of God, but you define somebody not because of his capacity, but you give him a front seat because you speak the same language, because he's from your town, because you worship in the same mosque or the same church. At that point, we're not serving God. So for me, these are the issues, nothing personal.
Bishop Kuka, do you fear at any point for your safety? Because there are people who will go beyond having arguments with you. There are those who go beyond issuing rebuttals, as we have seen with a few cases in Nigeria. Do you sometimes look at yourself, or do close relatives of yours speak to you and say, Bishop, we still need you around?
Look, when people talk about fear, I ask myself, so fear of what? Really, truly, fear of what?
Death.
The only thing I'm afraid of is to break the law. That's what I'm afraid of, and I live with it every day. And the only thing that can give me a sense of fear is that I've broken the law. Short of breaking the law, I will fear a human being, or fear what? I've not abused anybody. Even my worst critics will concede that I have never insulted anybody. But what is even more important to me, and for me, it's a sense of validation. So when people talk to me about fear, I don't know what they're talking about, because for me, the only fear I have is a fear that this country might go under. And it's a fear that is genuine. But we must do everything humanly possible to avert what is clearly a looming disaster. Because we can do better than this. And I know that the percentage of those who want this country to sink, probably less than 5% or 3%. So over 90% of ordinary Nigerians just want to be left to do. I think we have oversubscribed in terms of what government has the capacity to do. Because beyond electing a man from your village, after the election, you won't see him again. And there is nothing to suggest that the people from the president's town are necessarily benefiting more than other people, except of recent, where some people have on their own carried projects to Daura. And I'm not sure that the president himself necessarily asked them to do that. But short of that, we're still struggling to get to Mina. Mina has given us 2 former heads of state. If you go to Jonathan's hometown, it's not as if you can drive with your eyes closed. Okay, if you go to, I've been to Shagari, where President Shagari came from. And I've not been to Obasanjo's hometown, but when I met Obasanjo first time he was talking to me, he said to me, I swear I'm sure your village is better than my own. But things may have changed now. But I'm just saying that let's look for the government to create a space that all of us can flower in. Because government can never employ everybody. 99% of ordinary young Nigerians just want electricity. They want to do their jobs. Extraordinarily brilliant young people just want to be left alone to do what God has given them talent for.
Bishop Kuka, so much said, so much food for thought. But again, I must thank you and wish you the very best.
As we say in Nigeria, the only thing we can pray for is hope, Uzodinma. You know what that means?
I do. I do. So, which is why my laughter is
the name of somebody, but it simply means in Igbo, we hope the road is good.
Indeed. Indeed. Bishop Kuka, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Bless you. Thank you.